So another job we need to do is to check the condition of the heat exchanger and the exhaust elbow.
Right, guys, let's be honest. We don't really have an introduction here, but we're Lucy and Nick, and in this episode, Nick's going to talk a little bit about taking the engine apart. If you have a Bavaria 36, it may be very useful to you, so stick around.
The exhaust elbows are known for coking up, and the actual hole that the salt water flows through can be getting very, very small and restricting the exhaust flow, which is not what we want. So we're going to check the heat exchanger because that's somewhere where we could lose flow, and the exhaust elbow. They're also known for corroding quite badly, those exhaust elbows, so we'll see if we need to replace it. So the first thing first is we've got to get the belt off, because I think I'll show you, it's easier to show, I think. The coolant drain is like way down there, and I need to get a big container in there, and we've got no access panel on the starboard side of the engine, so I think it's going to be easier if we take it off from, there you go, this little bit here. We'll try and take it off from the pump side. Only thing is, when I take that off, it's just going to piss everywhere. So the thinking is going to be that I take the belt off, because we need to change that anyway to give me a bit more room. And then I'm just going to go for it. Wish me luck. Okay, so I've got the steps out, so you can see stairs are gone. They're up there as well. I've cut this nice and big, so I'll be able to fit the pipe in there. Take this one off, aim for there I think, and just aim for there, hope for the best. Might be a bit messy, but I've got rag and stuff, so I'll make ready to use that. I got the coolant out. It was messy to say the least. Got a little bit it dripped down the engine, so I'm going to grab some WD-40 and just hit that spot and try and get rid of any stuff that's come down. So now what's next is I've got to take these off, this one and this one, so that I can get the heat exchanger out from in here and have a good look at that. It's off, and look at that bad boy. No wonder we are struggling with water flow. That is shocking. My plan is to put it in a bog brush holder with some vinegar and just leave it, and then I'll go through it with probably some kebab sticks, I'd imagine. You'll notice the lights are on. It's starting to get dark, but I managed to get the rubber off this end. This one was a bit of a pig, and we have a leak of some sort here. So this is the exhaust elbow. We want to check the size of the hole, but I'm gonna have a pop it off, I think. But I mean, maybe I don't have to. I'll probably pop it off. Anyway, let's show you the actual heat exchanger itself. So here it is in all its glory. It looks friggin' mingin'. So I need tomorrow's job, I think. I'm going to take this back to the other boat where I'm living at the moment, and we'll soak it in vinegar overnight. I'll flip it over in the morning because it's a bit long, and then give it a clean with some cocktail sticks, I suppose, skewers. And what I'm going to do today is very slowly but surely try and descale our heat exchanger. So if I hold it up, hopefully you can see I'm doing it in the bathroom so I can get some running water to it. This is the side that I haven't cleaned yet, and this is the side that I've just started cleaning with an old toothbrush. Seems to be doing the job, and then I've got to tackle getting inside all of these holes, making sure that they're nice and clean. So I'm going to take it nice and easy today.
Hi guys, it's Lucy jumping in here just to give a bit of a voiceover for what this is. This is the exhaust elbow that Nick had taken off. As you can see, it's quite rusty and also quite corroded inside, has a fair bit of soot build-up, and this is the new one, which is nice and shiny, very clear, so hopefully this will fix some of our exhaust problems that we were having with the lack of water coming out the stern of the boat when we turned the engine on. Now, there has been so much talking in this video, so you're probably are a bit sick of Nick and I talking. In that case, you can turn off the video, we don't mind. But if not, then I'll just say that this is Nick cleaning off the connection for the exhaust elbow, I'm pretty sure. And it's just important that the diaphragm that he's trying to take off there, is clean, so that everything when it goes back on properly is nice and sealed up and that there's no leaks. I'll put on a touch of music here so that you can have a break from our voices.
Thought I'd just talk a little bit about the fuel system on this boat. There's a big tank in the floor, the other side of the bathroom in there, just the other side of there's a big fuel tank in the floor, and it comes through on these two lines. It goes to the pre-filter just there, and then it comes, one of these lines go to here, one to here, and it goes straight through this other filter, which is a more fine filter than the other one. So this is really to stop any fine particulate ending up going through the injectors, and then it goes through the pump, blah blah blah. And this is my understanding of it. I have no mechanical training, so it's like goes through some pumps. There's a little lift pump that I've got to twiddle to reprime it once I've changed both the filters over, because there's no fuel in the system. Goes into the injectors, and then anything that isn't used by those in the combustion or is spare goes out of the return, and that heads back to the tank. So that was what I made the mistake of. I thought, oh, just make sure there's no fuel left in this line, forgetting that it was the return line. There's no shut off on the return, so I just slowly started emptying the fuel tank into my little container, which I soon realised, fortunately, before it filled up. Anyway, bit of fun. So we're going to try and remove this filter here. Might need my filter spanner, so we'll see how we go. I am changing the cab filter. It's really challenging, not much room for me to film in there, so I've taken it off, but I just thought I'd show you. So this is our pre-filter. So there's two filters on our fuel system. There's one that comes in between the tank and the rest of the engine, and then there's one just before it goes into the engine and the injectors. So this is our pre-filter, and you can see that once upon a time there may have been a little bit of gunk. I mean, we've got some gunk. I've never changed one of these before, so I don't know what's normal, but given that this boat sat for quite some time before we bought her, it's not really surprising. Hopefully we can, we'll just keep on top of it, keep filters at hand. This job is a bit more tricky than I anticipated in terms of access, so if we were having to do this at sea, not potentially something I'd really enjoy doing. So I am thinking that maybe long term we might install a second filter and have an elbow in place so that we can switch between the two. So if we end up where we're not getting enough fuel to our engine, we can just chuck her over onto the other filter, and hopefully that should remedy the problem. Anyway, we'll carry on. So there be the old filter. Now, fortunately, because I drained the line already and etc., all of the fuel had flowed back to the cab filter. So now I can see what condition the fuel is in here, and that looks to me, let's put it up by the light somehow, that looks all right. It doesn't look like there's any water in there, which is what we want to see, and I can't see any particulates. So the cab filter, the one that I changed previously, is the one that does the bulk of the lifting, because if particulate clogs up, this is really like a last resort when this one clogs up. So we'd rather clog up the other one first. And I'm pleased to say that, yeah, this one is in good nick. So the other filter has done its job. Super duper. And I suppose reflecting on how the cab filter went, if I was changing that at sea, I probably wouldn't change any of the O-rings and the gaskets. I would just be interested in getting a new filter on there just to get the engine going again, which maybe would reduce how difficult that job would be, but I still think it's a bit awkward. So still currently thinking about how I might change that. Anyway, just like that, new filters on. I say just like that, I didn't film me doing it, of course. Just screwed on, as you might have imagined, but do that one finger tight in the same way you do the oil filter finger tight, because you're not supposed to need a filter spanner to take stuff on and off. Should just be able to do it by hand because it's got the rubber there to make the seal. Now I need to figure out which one of these. I have a feeling it might be this one. This one here. I've got to put these pipes back on, these hoses, and then I need to open up the drain here, the bleed, so that when I operate the little pump, which has a little flicky handle down here that pumps manually to prime it, when I do that, that should mean that I can reprime, and then when fuel starts coming out of the bleed, I know I've topped up the fuel system so it's ready to turn over again. FLOO. Fuel lines officially on. I've turned on the fuel system, so just opened that shut-off valve, and now I've opened up the vent here, and if you listen, when I operate my little pump, you can hear stuff happening, and eventually, hopefully, I'm going to need two hands for this, so maybe I'll set you up over here. Eventually I should get some fuel come out of the top. But I have got to fill up both filters, which is going to take a while. And should I have pre-filled them? Maybe. Did I? No. Maybe I need to do this with the drain closed and then open it at the end. We'll try that. Let's give it one more pump. I think I'm nearly there. There we go. That's it. A little bit of fuel out the top. Perfect. So I just need to tighten that back up, and then job's a good one.
Hi guys, so that's all for today's episode. I know it was a lot of talking, but hopefully some of that information was useful to you. We are going to have some more sailing videos coming up very soon. In the next video we launch the boat into the water, and then we have some summer activities, and then we've got some really exciting news to share with you guys, so stay tuned, and the video is going to be coming out every 2 weeks. So if you do like what you're seeing, then you know, the old cheesy like and subscribe, I think that's what you're supposed to say, and yeah, we'll see you very soon. Thanks for watching. Let's do another clap at the end just in case. Yeah. I think that's all.